And then question 3 over here says, given the following quadratic number pattern, so we have quadratic, that's important. We have 5, -4, -19, -40. It says 3.1, determine the constant second difference of this sequence. So it's 2 marks and we've already written it out over here. So a quadratic has a first difference that is different, and then it has a constant second difference. So we have t1, 2, 3, and 4, and going from 5 to -4, we have -9 over there. But then from -4 to -19, we have -15 over there. And then from -19 to -40, we have -21 over there. And then our second difference that we're working out here for 3.1 is -6, and then -6 again. And if we got a second difference that was not the same, it means we added things up incorrectly over here. But this question just earned us 2 marks and helped us set up the usual setup that we want going forward for the next questions, because then 3.2 says give the equation of the general term. So the way that we do that is we need to get the value of a for an squared, the value of b for plus bn, and then the value of c for plus c over there. This is our quadratic equation. And the way that we solve it is by making 2a equal the second difference, 3a plus b equals the first difference, and then a plus b plus c equals the first term in the sequence, which means we can just go ahead and solve for these by going 2a equals -6, divide the -6 by 2, and we have -3 is the value for a. So we have -3n squared, and then a over here we're going to substitute into the next equation. So we have 3a is -3. We've put the -3 in there by the a, plus b, and that equals -9, this first difference over here. We can then solve for it. 3 multiplied by -3 is -9, plus b equals -9, which means if we take the -9 over, it becomes a +9, and -9 plus 9 is 0. So our b's value is 0. So then we can just write plus 0n, which ultimately becomes 0. So that guy is out. And then for a plus b plus c equaling 5, we have -3 plus 0. That's our b value, plus c, which is what we want, and that equals 5. So 0 is gone. -3, take that over. That becomes 8 over there, and c's value is 8. So we have -3n squared plus 8, and that is the equation of the general term for our quadratic sequence. And that just earned us 4 marks, because then from there we're on 3.3, which says which term is equal to -25939 for 3 marks. So this is quite a nice question. They're not saying what is the value of term 250, for example. They're saying what term, what n value equals the whole tn. This is the tn amount. This is how much it all equals, which means we just calculated the general formula, and that means we can go ahead and plug in this value over here on the side of our tn. So we have -25939, and that equals -3n squared plus 8, the general formula we just calculated. So at this stage, we can take our +8 over and subtract it on this side, and that equals -25947, and this side still equals -3n squared. We can then divide by -3 on both sides, and that equals 8649. So what we're left with is n squared on this side, and then we can go ahead and take the square root of this value, and the square root of 8649 equals 93. So that is the value of n. It is just a positive n because we're going from left to right, increasing over there. We're not going to the left, which means the 93rd term in this quadratic sequence will equal -25,939, which means that's our final answer, and we just earned 3 marks over there.